Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you're having a great day. Hope it was a great weekend for you. I'm Craig. This is Brittany. She doesn't have much of a voice, so I'm going to do all the talking for her today. This is what happens when you have a great weekend and you come in a little bit hoarse. Anyway, so if you notice what Brittany's doing right now, she's standing on a wobble board, and basically what we're trying to do is create some awareness in the feet and the ankles, and we're going to discuss that today in a little bit more detail. But before we get into that, please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Integrated Physical Therapy, and also click that bell to make sure you receive all our latest videos. Okay, so I'll wait a minute. Go ahead and do that. Subscribe. No, really, do it now. Okay, so let's talk about feet and ankles. When there's an ankle injury, a foot injury, what happens is some of the smaller muscle groups go to sleep, all right? And that means you can turn your ankle a little bit more easier if you step on a crack on the sidewalk, step on grass, whatnot. It leads to more ankle sprains or more injuries further down the line. So it is extraordinarily important that we think about how do we treat an ankle injury or a foot injury after that initial occurrence takes place. First and foremost, we got to clear all the red flags and check off all the boxes. Let's make sure there's no fractures. Let's make sure there's nothing egregiously wrong with the foot and ankle before we start some more conservative type treatments.
Nice word.
That's a good word, right? Good. So once we've figured that all out, we're good to go, ready for therapy, and we've done the basic work, which is decrease inflammation, increase range of motion, create a stable environment, and we want to then get back into more of a physical activity. The first thing that we have to do is increase what's called proprioception, or awareness of where the joint is in space. So for the last couple of minutes, I've been having Brittany stand on this wobble board, and you can see how she's literally wobbling on that foot. Now what I can ask Brittany to do is just to try increase the wobble without it touching the floor just a little bit. That's going to require her to bend the knees a little bit, bring her hips into play a little bit, but really because the foot and the ankle are most in contact with the board itself, she's got to contribute to the awareness and the proprioception of what's happening in that ankle. Again, proprioception is the small muscle groups, the little sensation fibers that exist within the joint to tell our body where it is in space without having to look at it or without having to really think about it.
Makes so much sense. It's actually hard to control.
Yes, it's much more difficult to control when you have it just balancing back and forth a little bit as opposed to just standing on it.
Or even sometimes I just go from all the way to one side, all the way to the other side, but that's easy because you can just collapse.
Right. Did you see that? So what Brittany's trying to say here is it's very easy just to kind of collapse on one side of the wobble board versus the other. What I'm asking her to do is not touch the floor, just move a little bit at a time. And then increase that without touching the floor to increase the amount of awareness and proprioception that happens. Once we get to proprioception, once we've increased our awareness and proprioception of the joint, then we can start talking about things like strength and return to function. We cannot talk about strength of an ankle and return to function until we have proprioception and awareness of an injured joint, because that can only lead to further injury down the road. So this is one way we can do it. We're going to slide this one aside, and I'm going to bring Brittany a foam pad. Now the foam pads is exactly what it sounds like. It's a pad that you stand on, and when you stand on it in 2 feet, it's relatively okay. So what I'm going to ask Brittany to do though, however, is bring her arms to her sides, or even across the chest to the shoulders. I'm going to ask her to close her eyes. Now closing her eyes, Brittany's going to probably feel a little bit of sway, a little bit of loss of balance in there, and the reason that is eyesight is part of our main controls of balance. Now Brittany's an athlete here and she's pretty stable in this environment. What if I ask you to open your eyes and now stand on 1 foot? Let's bring your arms out to the sides. And notice how much challenge that she's having in that foot and ankle. That foot and ankle is working really hard. Not only is the foot and ankle working extraordinarily hard, so is her knee, so is her quad, so is her hips, so is her core, right? And she's balancing there. Notice how we've increased the support system by bringing her arms out. If we bring her arms across the shoulders, that makes it even more challenging because it narrows her. And then even if we close her eyes from there. Now again, we can start this on a solid floor. We can start this on a pillow or a foam pad like this. But the idea is to increase proprioception and awareness while creating stability through the joint. Now, even if you have an injured joint on one side, I always ask people to do the other side. We always want to increase that proprioception and awareness on the other side as well, but it also gives the injured side a chance to rest in between sets.
Yeah, easier on my right for sure.
Yeah, and it's not unusual to have one side easier than another. It's one side dominant than others. I happen to be right-handed. I might be left-footed, and that's okay too. So the next one we're going to do is using a loop band, nice and easy, and we're going to do some different types of steps with this. So go ahead and place this around. Let's start with around your knee. Now, the higher the band, the easier this is going to be for the ankle. And let's just do one step to the side, bring it in, try and maintain tension on the band, and then step to the other side. And keep going on that for me. So all we're doing here is what we call lateral steps. Okay, and this is just to increase the amount of awareness and proprioception of how to respond to what we call a lateral or a side-to-side movement. What happens if you took with your right foot, come forward a little bit, like a monster step? That's it, and then go back, and now do the left. So now we're doing a lateral with a forward movement and then coming back to the beginning of that as well. We want to maintain tension on the band the whole time. Now, Brittany, let's go ahead and take that band and drop it down to the ankles. Okay, and let's go again. Now, by bringing the band down towards the ankles, what we're doing now is we're bringing in more control of the upper part of the leg, right? The glutes are getting involved a little bit more. The quads are getting involved a little bit more. We're having to recruit a little bit more musculature throughout the entire body to create control and stability through the ankle. This does not have to hurt. It should not hurt. No pain, no gain is a very silly concept in therapy.
Muscle burn is different.
Muscle burn is different than pain. That's what she's trying to say. All right, so let's try something a little different here. Take that band and put it around the outside of your feet. So now what we're doing is, if you notice, we started off a little easier with the band around the knees, dropped into the ankles, and now we've gone down to the feet. With the band around the feet, the internal and external rotation, supination, and pronation of the foot and ankle have to play a large role in this process. Also, this is a really great exercise to fire up the glutes, your butt muscles, your glute muscles, to create stability. And what Brittany's doing right now is just creating different patterns. She's going forward and side, she's going backwards and side, she's creating zigzags. And you can do this walking across a room, going sideways across a room, going backwards across a room. The idea here, again, proprioception and awareness in the foot and ankle joint to create an overall sense of stability before we work on strengthening and return to function. So I hope this was a good one for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, give us a call here at Integrated Physical Therapy. We're happy to help you out. Make sure you clear all the red flags first. Make sure that you are safe to participate in any of these exercises and these videos. And don't forget to subscribe to Integrated Physical Therapy. And please hit that bell and make sure you subscribe and get those videos when we release them. Have a great Monday. Enjoy.